Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to discuss on a new unit, that is discrete techniques and OpenGL program. So let's see what are the discrete techniques used here. So first discrete technique used is texture mapping. Okay, let's see what is texture mapping is. See, so far every geometric primitive has been drawn as either a solid color or smoothly shaded between the colors as its vertices. In short, we can say that they have been drawn without texture mapping. Okay, so let's see what a texture mapping actually deals with. So it is a method of adding realism to a computer generated graphic. We'll take an image that is the texture and is added or mapped to a similar shape that is generated in the scene, like a decal pasted to the flat surface. See, a decal is a design prepared on a special paper for durable transfer onto another surface such as glass or porcelain. So we are designing something on the paper and it is being transferred directly onto a glass or a porcelain. So doing this reduces the amount of computing needed to create the shapes and textures in the scene. As an example, we can say that a sphere may be generated and a face texture is mapped to remove the need for processing the shape of the nose and eyes. Okay, let's see more into that. This is done for larger and more varied texture images together with increasingly sophisticated ways to combine multiple textures for different aspects of the same objects. We'll be having multiple textures, but we need the same objects but in a different aspect of the same object. Okay, the way the resulting pixels on the screen are calculated from the text cells. Here we say text cells because it is combined into texture pixels and is governed by texture filtering. Okay, the fastest method is to use exactly one text cell for every pixel. So for each and every pixel, we consider it as a texture pixel or text cell. Okay. Texture mapping is a graphic design process in which a two-dimensional 2D surface called a texture map is wrapped around a three-dimensional or a 3D object. So thus the 3D object acquires a surface texture similar to that of the 2D surface. Okay. Now this is how it looks like. We have a geometry which is shown in the XYZ axis. Then we have the screen, then the proper image in two-dimensional axis. S and T represented that it is shown in the two-dimensional axis. Now, images and geometry flow through separate pipelines that join at the rasterizer. Now, complex textures do not affect geometric complexity also. So this is how geometry pipeline is separate and pixel pipeline is separate. Through the geometry pipeline, we pass the vertices, and to the pixel pipeline, we pass the images, and at the rasterizes, it combines and form into a 2D axis image. Now, texture array is a 2D image pattern with element text cells. We already mentioned that. Value at a text cell affects surface appearance. That means the texture map determines how the pattern lies on the surface. Now first we are doing is that find surface that is frontmost at current pixel. Find the surface patch corresponding to the pixel and find the part of the texture pattern corresponding to the surface patch, and use that part of the texture pattern in setting the pixel color. This is how it looks like. So first here we are doing that, find the surface that is frontmost at the current pixel. See, this is the surface which we have found out. Okay. Now we are finding out the surface patch corresponding to the pixel and find the texture part of the texture pattern corresponding to the surface pattern. So this is the texture pattern, right? Now use that part of the texture pattern in setting the pixel color. So as a whole, our image looks like this. Okay. Now this is how 2D texture pattern mapping is done. These are some examples of 2D texture mapping. We have the texture and we combine with the object and we get the mapped texture. I hope examples will prove better than saying. This is another example. We have the object, we have the texture, and we have the texture mapped object. Okay. Now, next category or next set of mapping is the environment mapping. Now, in environment mapping, put texture on a highly reflective object by picking up texture from the environment in which the object is absorbed or occupied. Okay. It is realized as two-step process. First step is project the environment, that is excluding the object onto an intermediate surface. So we'll exclude the object and we'll only project the environment onto a specific surface. Okay. Now place object back and map texture from intermediate surface to object. So we'll place the object back where it was there and we'll map the texture only to the intermediate surface from intermediate surface to the object. So this is how it looks like. Now here we have an object of a kettle, but we have textured the environment into the kettle. Now environment mapping has two methods, sphere mapping and cubic mapping. Let's see what is sphere mapping. In sphere mapping, for each environment mapped pixel, compute the reflection vector. Reflection vector means how the viewer is viewing the environment. So sphere mapping or spherical environment mapping is a type of reflection mapping. It is also known as reflection mapping that approximates reflective surfaces by considering the environment to be an infinitely far away spherical wall. Okay. We will be doing like this. This environment is stored as a texture depicting what a mirror sphere would look like if it were placed into the environment using an orthographic projection. Now this texture contains reflective data for the entire environment except for the spot directly behind the sphere. So directly behind the sphere we cannot reflect the data. On other sides we can reflect the data for the entire environment. Okay. Now this is how it looks like. We have an object, we have a viewpoint. Then we can environmentally map surfaces on a sphere. Okay. Then the next second environment mapping category was cubic mapping. We put a camera in the environment center and then project the environment onto the sides of a cube centered at the camera position. Okay. Cube mapping is a method of environment mapping that uses the 6 faces of a cube as the map shape. Okay. We already know cube has a 6 faces. Okay. The environment is projected onto the sides of a cube and stored as 6 square textures are unfolded into 6 regions of a single texture. This is the cube map is generated by first entering the scene 6 times from a viewpoint with the views defined by a 90-degree view frustum representing each cube face. Let's see what is a cube frustum is. Cube frustum is the region of space in the modeled world that may appear on the screen. I'll say it more clearly. In short, it is the field of view of a perspective virtual camera system that is known as view frustum. We will be having a perspective virtual camera system to view the field or the scene. So this is the 6 faces of a cube. We start with phase 0 up to phase 5 where we have a 90-degree projections of each face of the cube. Now this is the example. See, we have reflected all the environment scenes on the 6 faces of a cube. Now, the next mapping is bump mapping. Bump mapping is a technique in computer graphics for simulating bumps and wrinkles on the surface of an object. This is achieved by perturbing the surface normal of the object and using the perturbed normal during lighting calculations. Okay. The result is an apparently bumpy surface rather than a smooth surface, although the surface of the underlying object is not actually changed. Maybe it is when while viewing, maybe it is not actually changed, but instead of a smooth surface, we are apparently providing a bumpy surface there. So let's see an example. This is how it looks like. This is the actual object. Now we are adding a spot onto that, and now it becomes from a smooth surface, it becomes into a bumpy surface. Okay, like that we can provide wrinkles also. Thank you so much. I hope today's topic was understandable.